Right. Okay. All right, this is Dre, Tattoo Squid Podcast. We got a special guest coming on here. We got Aaron from I Had to Say It. So, what is the meaning of that? I had to say it. It's just that's
That's
it.
that's pretty much it. It's shit that I feel it had to be said. Things that people need to talk about that either we aren't because people are afraid they're going to get canceled, or they're worried about the butthurt brigade coming after them, and I'm not one of those people.
Never heard that phrase before. but
Yeah.
yeah. So you are in Illinois. What goes on in Illinois?
um,
Okay.
well,
Next question.
no, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on here. There's just also a lot of really shitty stuff that goes on around here,
Welcome to America.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a little south of Chicago, which is the big landmark for everybody that when they think Illinois, they think Chicago.
Yeah.
And far enough away where it's close if I want to go do something there, but it's far enough away where it's away. So I'm good with that. And they got festivals and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just like anywhere else in the country. There's stuff to do, and then there's stuff not to do,
and they just
like,
lazy around
yeah. I mean, last year we had to deal with some riots and shit, just like a lot of other major cities did.
Oh yeah.
But on the other hand, they're all, like I said, they're far enough away where they're away. It's okay.
Yeah.
Although at one point we did have a little chuckle because there was some clown got interviewed on the news. I don't know if it made national media, but it was on the local media, where one of the peaceful protesters that was being interviewed literally said, "Yeah, we're coming out to the suburbs next. Y'all ain't ready for this." And I was like, do you realize you're talking about going to places where people sit in a tree all day and wait to shoot something for fun? And I'm like, and it was kind of funny because the night that happened, and the day it was on the news, like I can't speak for the rest of the area, but in my neighborhood, I went out and sat on my porch that night because I happened to be laid off due to the outbreak.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I had to be up in the morning or anything. So I went out and sat on my front porch just on the off chance that some of these idiots did decide to come out from the city and come out to the burbs.
Yeah.
And I looked up and down my street, and it was pretty much the same thing. Like there were about a dozen people out sitting out on the porch. You could see shotguns leaned up against the walls. I mean, I was like, yeah, we don't have to worry about our neighborhood catching on fire.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, so.
Bastard. But all right. So now, proud part of the Rogue Rooster family. I know we were talking like a little bit about this, and I want to put it on here and tell us more about Rogue Rooster family.
Okay, well, Rogue Rooster is a media group, kind of like a podcast affiliation, but they do other stuff too. They got like a newsletter and got some merchandising affiliations and stuff like that. And I was started by one set of guys who had a show with the Bub and Gob show, and then there's Dads on Bakewell and myself, and Deep Gripping Reality and Scotch and Sports are the active members right now.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of just it's not like a super formal thing. I mean, it is because we're all agreed that that's us, but
yeah.
We network together, endorse each other, reference people. It's a good little group to be in. I enjoy it. So
yeah, cool.
It happened to be all shows I listened to too. So it was like, once they were like, well, hey, you want to join up? I was like, oh, hell yeah. So
yeah.
And like I said, it's a cool thing. I really it's a good bunch of guys. We're all doing something that we enjoy doing. It helps get things a little more organized sometimes, coordinating stuff. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll be a way to like take this out of the hobby for some of us. So
yeah, but this is like more like a hobby as it is. I mean, but I mentioned this one time because I needed to get more shit for my podcast, and I went to I got one of those You know those things like the microphones you attach the lapel thing?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. The
Yeah,
lavalier, I think they call them, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I got one of those like in the mail, and I'm like, oh great, but nothing was doing it. And I'm like, all right, so who do I gotta see to find out how the shit goes? And then there was a place that's near me. I went down there, and all of a sudden it's like a husband wife deal. And they were like, all right, well, you got to pay like $200 for this. You need this and this. And it's like, if you're going to be running the business, I'm like, nah, this is like for fun. And he goes, listen, it's going to be a business. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll see you down the line. And I mean, honestly, they were right. I mean, it is somewhat of a business, but I like to do it. It's like,
Yeah,
I talk too much, so I got to like express it somehow.
exactly. That's how my show got started, because it was, like I said, I went from having a job and someplace to be 40 hours a week to like home alone, just me and the wife all day. And
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I love my wife, but there's only so much shit we can talk about before we run out of things to say if neither one of us is going anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
You'll watch TV or be on your phone, and you're like,
yeah.
this one's
So I was, and a couple of my buddies have been telling me for a long time, like, dude, you should start a podcast. I'm like, I don't have time for that shit. And all of a sudden I had nothing but time, and I was like,
yeah.
what's it hurt? So I figured I'd give it a run, and it turned out I enjoy it. So I was like, all right. And then now I'm back to work. So it's a little more like, I got to coordinate things and plan ahead, but I still enjoy it. So I'm still rocking with it.
So how long have you been doing I had to say it?
It was a year as of August 31st. That was my 1 year anniversary.
So it's like the first season, I guess, or do you go by seasons, or you don't really go by seasons?
It's sort of. I called at the end of the first season at the end of December last year.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, going forward, if I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to have seasons. And then I realized this whole year has been one season, apparently, because I never think to change the seasons.
Yeah. Well, I did like 100 episodes, like for the first season. I just kept on going, and I'm like, hey, what's the cutoff thing for like a season? And they're like, well, whenever you fucking feel like it. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the 100 thing, and then now this is like the second season, so I'm doing everything interview wise. So I'm gonna try to do 100 fucking interviews. And here's the kicker. The kicker is I'm going to try to get everybody to come back to do one big clusterfuck of a Zoom.
That sounds fantastic. Actually, I was playing around with doing something like that myself, only doing like a game show kind of thing.
Yeah.
And have each show be a team and do like a Trivial Pursuit thing is what I was thinking.
Yeah, the same thing with me. Yeah, I was going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, it sounds like it might be kind of a clusterfuck, but it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might need to do like team captains or something. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
well, I mean, if you got 100 people, that's going to take a little bit more.
Well, no. I mean, you figure like 4, because I was like watching a video of like a heavy metal thing, and they had like 4 team captains, and you figured you get those 4 spread out, and you do like whatever, try and make sure everybody gets in the right mind frame, I guess. But the one thing I was going to do was, there's a thing called movie game. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if you're like a movie guy or
you could say that.
Okay, but I mean, you can hold your own basically.
Oh yeah. I used to manage a video store back when those were still a thing, and I was one of those guys that was like, somebody would come in like, I'm looking for the film that's got that guy, with the face, and I'd be like, okay, here's what you're looking for. Yeah, that's it. How'd you do that?
Because I Bob outside.
It's like, because I have to answer this question 90 times a day, because none of you guys, I mean, this was, late 90s. So it was we didn't have IMDb or any of that other shit. It was like, you either knew it or you didn't.
Yeah, or you watched it and over and over. Like, I know that movie.
Yeah, that's the reason why I saw Titanic like 137 freaking times. Because when it came out on video, the owner's wife was very insistent that be on the TV all day, every day. So for like 8 hours a day for like 2 months, I watched Titanic. And if I never see that movie again, it'll be too damn soon.
I saw it once, and it's like that Johnny Dangerously. Or was it Johnny Depp?
Yeah, with Michael Keaton and
Yeah.
had Joe Piscopo in it.
Yeah. We caught the guy. The guy was like, he goes, "My mom hit once, just once." Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what me with the Titanic. I saw Titanic once when I was drunk. Once. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the best part was too, we had a specific copy for the store that, because they didn't want to have to worry about anybody getting offended, they took the boob scene out.
Yeah.
So it was the store copy of the tape.
Yeah.
And so we didn't even get to see the drawn or naked part, which was, so I'm like, this movie was fine. Like, I went and saw it in the theater with a couple of my friends and their girlfriends and the girl I was kind of talking to at the time. And because of that movie, nothing went for any further with that girl, because apparently I'm an ass. There's this scene towards the end where the guy falls off the back of the plane and he hits the prop and the body goes cartwheeling.
Yeah.
I laughed my ass off when that happened. I was like, bah! And yeah, apparently I'm an asshole for that one. And she just, I cannot believe what a jerk you are. And I'm like, I can't believe you didn't think that shit was funny. People died. I'm like, not in the movie. I mean, yes, people died in reality, but that probably happened too. But either way. And so.
Yeah, I watched movies like we're watching Fear Street.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Fear Street? Or
is that the one that just came out recently on Netflix with the?
Yeah, it's like the 3-part.
They got
like
3 parts.
thing.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't seen the third one yet. So.
Well, no, I'm not even gonna well, you've seen the first one.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the first one, and me and my girlfriend started watching the first one, and it was great. It was like, all right, cool. A couple of killings here and there. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, after we, you get to the part where, and sorry, people, spoiler, if you haven't seen it, then you should just checked in and then watched it. But basically, you get to the supermarket part where they're trying to get the ghouls together, the blood, and then there's that bread slicer incident. And then my girlfriend said that, like, offhand, she just looked at it and she's like, all right, this is not going to go well. And I'm like, you think? I see a bread slicer, and then, but we had, but we had our mind. It's like, okay, the stupid kid is going to get killed first, but let alone it was the president, the class president.
Yeah, no, they're like, oh yes, this is the one with the future that's going to do so. Oops.
Oh no, but it gets better. We call it, my girlfriend she has a tendency to, like, she has a blanket of protection, which that's what I call it. So she'll have it like this, and then especially when maggots come around, she goes, "Why does that be fucking maggots?" But she did this, and then I was like, she goes, "Mother of pearl," and I'm like, and now I'm looking. I've seen every kill scene there is, and it was like, fucking A, But then I started grinning a little bit. And she just goes, "Why are you laughing at this?" I'm like, "I'm just shocked. And plus, you're yelling off the top of your lungs."
It's like, I'm not laughing that the kid died. I'm laughing at the circumstances here. This is funny.
But then we talked about it. We're like, listen, the wrong person died first, but then afterwards, the guy got the axe in the head. So we won. It's like, see, look, he got killed. Holy shit. Okay, fine. But then we saw the second, and then we saw the third, but that was it. But the first one, that was like the more like, oh, I'm like, let's watch a different movie now. She goes, no, that took a lot out of me.
No, I need a little time.
Yeah, we'll watch it next week. And I'm like, okay. So then we started watching, like, then we saw like Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. The second one or whatever. So
the new one with the dun,
dun, it's like Law and Order, dun, dun, But so what else was I was gonna so since we're on the basic of movies, what is your favorite kind of movie or genre movie?
I like comedy stuff. I mean, but this is going to sound kind of, maybe I'm dating myself here or whatever, but I don't like more recent comedies as a rule. I like stuff like, Mel Brooks and Richard
Oh, yeah.
Pryor, Gene Hackman movies, Yeah.
What's the other one? I'm trying to remember the Woody Allen.
Woody Allen movies, yeah.
Yeah.
The old funny stuff where they would say something and we could laugh at it, and wasn't like you had to say something to look around the room to make sure nobody was upset that you were laughing at it first,
Yeah, yeah.
And
so, I'm sorry, Rico, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so things that pretty much the entire Mel Brooks catalog is like the list of my favorite movies. And, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, History of the World Part 1, Blazing Saddles. I mean, this shit's hilarious, and nobody would have the stones to make any of those movies today.
I was just gonna say they're not gonna be able to do that shit now.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't make fun of something like that. Why not?
Yeah.
Mel Brooks did a scene of Hitler on ice, a skating Hitler. How about that's? And Mel Brooks was in World War II, for Christ's sakes. I mean, if anybody's earned the right to make fun of Hitler, it's him. And
and Robin Hood, Men in Tights, especially like, anybody want their sticker to get it,
You take your thing, you put it in the tip, you slit the ooh.
And they're all like, oh my God, they just cringe.
Yeah. And he's like, I gotta start working on a younger crowd.
Yeah. But what was the movie that I got in the mail, and I love this Haunted Honeymoon.
Haunted Honeymoon was another good one. Yeah.
Oh, Gene Wilder. That's the actor I was thinking of. Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner. No. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Gilda Radner was.
Yeah. I was thinking about some comedian that had the same kind of like name or something. Rudner or
Rita Rudner.
Yeah.
That's Video Store Brain.
I was like, but yeah, we were watching that. I was like, I love that whole thing. Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, Dom DeLuise. I love that guy too. I mean,
fucking Cannonball
Run, and yeah, that's see, those are good movies.
Yeah,
that's
Smokey and the Bandit. Hooper.
Oh yeah, all of them. That's. But and like I said, they can't make that shit today.
What is your go-to music?
Oh, that's a much harder question for me. I listen to a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to say, like, if I'm real, it kind of depends on the mood, but things I really kind of, I mean, I'm a rock and roll kind of guy, but it some days it's heavier, some days it's bluesier. I mean, things ZZ Top, Stevie Ray Vaughan, I mean,
yeah,
that whole like Texas funk rock kind of combo, power trios. I mean, it's but then on the other hand, there's days where it's like, well, I think I'm going to listen to a bunch of, satanic ska music today or something. I mean, it's very, and it's out there. If and I'm always, well, I shouldn't say always, but occasionally I'll like go on YouTube and find some sort of weird rabbit hole. Like I'll look up a band I like, and then where they got the suggestions like, well, you may like this, and this, and I'll start checking out other weird bands. And next thing you know, I'm listening to like Ukrainian banjo music, and
that's always fun to listen to. Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
that's I love something that makes you just, what the fuck? I mean, if I looked a little bit confused, I probably got a grin on my face. Like,
I did the same thing. I was like, there's a guy named Leo. He has like a weird name. I think he's from Germany or some country out that way. And he does like he'll take a song and he'll just do it his own way. And he'll be in the studio and he'll do some crazy shit, but he'll do every instrument. So he'll play the guitar, drums, and he has it edited like he's like a whole band. And like he did Cranberries Zombie, and
okay.
And it's Cotton Eye
Joe.
And he did that one, and he did like everything, like Adele.
Yeah, so he's one of those guys, just does what he likes, and
and he has this kid.
That's awesome.
It's like he has like just craziness just going ensued, and Eye of the Tiger. He had like a guy
Yeah.
singing, and he was doing like Eye of the Tiger, and he had like this crazy fucking contact that you use for Halloween, which I love that, and I can't do that because
Yeah.
I got sensitive fucking eyes.
Yeah. I used to have a couple sets of those, like the blackout caps,
Yeah.
and I can't wear them anymore. I mean, it was one thing when I was like 25, but that was a while ago.
Oh
And
man, you could do it. Imagine you do it now, especially doing like a video thing, a vlog,
oh yeah,
Halloween,
just well, on the other hand, I also got, like, you can see, like, I'm generally kind of squinty, just like you can, the people
yeah.
listening can't see this, but my eyes don't generally open real wide unless I do it on purpose.
Oh, believe
And
me, this is gonna be video and audio, so they're gonna see when you're.
oh, okay, well, if you're watching this on video, you can see I'm kind of a squinty guy. But and it's kind of funny, when I was like a teenager, I was constantly having to tell like my teachers and my parents, like, no, I'm not stoned. Actually, no, my parents knew because they live with me and they knew that's just how my
Like a
eyes
Jim
were.
Brewer thing.
Yeah, basically, like, no, this is just how I look.
Yeah.
And I swear I'm not stoned. And it's just, not I mean, I don't judge people that are stoned, but I'm just saying I was constantly having to answer for, like, no, look, I'm not high, I promise. And so, like, for me to put the contacts in, it's like
Yeah.
and realistically, 8 times out of 10 you couldn't tell if they were in anyway, because
Yeah.
it'd be like,
Are you a Halloween person?
I love Halloween. The last couple of years we've been a little more tame about it, but we used to do the whole, turn the front of the house into a mausoleum and a bunch
Oh
of
yeah.
tombstones out in the front yard. And
Yeah. The good shit.
yeah, and we'd get all, particularly like for a while, like when my son was younger, that was his favorite holiday. So we'd get out there, and my wife would take the kids trick or treating. I'd stay home and hand out candy, and
Oh
kind of
yeah.
fuck with people. And when my son got to be older, where he felt comfortable going with his friends by themselves, and we felt comfortable letting him go with his friends by himself, because we were not huge helicopter parents, but we're
Yeah.
like, well, if you're going to go with your friends, there has to be at least like 4 of you guys, so somebody can get away when the van shows up. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
That's
and
that's a good personal we call it a public service announcement, like make
yeah,
leave GI Joe. Yeah.
yeah, there's no candy in that van, I promise.
Yeah. And no
So,
puppies either. There's no
yeah, I was gonna say
puppies.
they're better than a puppy this time, damn it.
No
but
puppies.
but so then it got to, like, for a couple of years, and we'd have, like, stuffed clothes to look like bodies and stuff on the front porch. And like one year I had like a Grim Reaper outfit with the face blackout thing on it and
Yes.
everything. And I was sitting in one of the chairs on the front porch, just hanging there, and my wife was handing out candy to all the kids, and I would jump out and grab them as they were walking away, like, son of a bitch. They'd run off screaming, and it was fun. And
I just peed myself.
exactly. But then, like, there was this little girl dressed as a princess, and she wasn't on the porch when I didn't see her because of the mask, like, kind of obscured my vision.
Yeah.
And so this little, like, 3-year-old girl dressed as a princess in this little pink tutu and princess gown and all this other stuff, and I jumped up at the teenagers and scared the Christ out of them. This poor girl's like, "Bah!"
Yeah.
and she wouldn't come anywhere near the house. And my wife's like, "Good job." I'm like, okay, look. This was also like a couple 100 pounds ago, so I looked a little more like a normal, like, I didn't look like a bloated costume on the porch. I looked like a costume. So I'm like taking off the mask and the gloves and everything. I'm like, look, honey, it's just me. I take off the mask. She starts crying harder. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm offended now. You don't need any candy. The kid cries harder when I take the mask off. Fuck that. I mean, yeah, children are honest, and I know I'm not exactly, Brad Pitt, but come on, work with me, kid. Jesus.
I'm just glad I got a niece that loves Halloween and loves everything that I go. I try my mask out on her. So when she's like 4 or 5 years old or whatever, and I'm like, if she starts crying about a mask, then I'm not gonna fucking wear it, because I'm going trick or treating with her. So I don't want her getting uncomfortable because I'm wearing this mask, and then she just like starts laughing about it, like, and I'm like, okay, she likes it.
This works.
But then she'll dress up too, like she dressed up like a mummy. I think when COVID hit, and we still went out to see what's going on. And every place that you go to has sanitizer on the table. Here's the candy, And I was like, oh my God, really? Come on. So,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I actually one year, like you were talking about scaring people, and I love doing that shit. It's just like I had the what was it called? I gotta try to describe it. There's a skull mask, and it had like a top hat with the hair come down the sides,
Okay.
and then there was like a Dracula style kind of like with a cape, and then the
Like
the
the frilly shirt kind of thing, or
well, yeah, but the ascot thing that
okay, yeah, that's
so
what it's
like
called. Ask
yeah, yeah, like the Freddy from
the
Scooby-Doo.
Fred from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, so they got the
Yeah.
ascot thing, whatever, and it was like scary as shit because then I had the cane, and I had one of the decorations like the clown face that has the head ripped off with the chains. So I'm walking
All right.
around there, and every kid is like staring at me, like scared shitless, and to the point where we go down this one street, and it's a big street, so we're going down the side of the street, and now you got kids coming this direction, we're going this direction. And I'm wearing this costume, and the one girl got so fucking scared, she almost ran into traffic.
Ooh.
And my sister-in-law just looked at me like, Dre, you almost killed her. And I'm like, I didn't know she was gonna run out in the fucking traffic. I'm like, what the fuck?
Didn't think it was that bad. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm like, but she didn't get hit
Soft ass
hard,
kids.
but
Yeah.
but it was just like it was the greatest thing. And I tried to top myself every every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Like,
But
what can I do?
yeah. But
Yeah.
you seen the Saw movies?
Yeah.
So that's something that I think my girlfriend would never watch. It's like the senseless killings.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
but I got the mask, the pig mask with the hair.
Yeah.
I bought that. A lot of people didn't like it. I brought it to my brother's house, and I was gonna wear it going trick or treating with the nieces and nephews. And my nephew was like 5 or something, and he just looked at me and started crying. My niece looked at me and went, he's not scary. And I'm like, yeah, she is my niece.
Yeah, like it might be in the family.
Yeah. So then my sister's like, she's your niece, all right. She likes everything that you do. And I'm like, cool. So
Yeah.
but
Well,
what other stuff? Anything going on with I had to say it.
well, just the regular, you know, I've been pretty good about dropping an episode every Tuesday. I've managed to
Yeah.
maintain that consistency. So I did have one week where I had to take a week off because we had a death in the family.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was my wife's grandmother passed, and that was it's kind of like it was one of those things where, when a 97-year-old woman passes away,
Oh,
you can only be so surprised. I mean, it was still a bummer, and
yeah.
it did kind of come
right though, 97.
yeah.
Come on now. There's people
Well,
living 102, I guess.
exactly. And I was like, that's not a bad run.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is what it is. I mean, but it was just, it did, for being 97, it kind of came on kind of suddenly, like because up until about 95 and a half, she was pretty independent, and then 96, she went into an assisted living place, and then
Yeah.
then COVID happened, and that was like, that kind of seemed to be like this thing that all of a sudden she just wasn't, herself anymore.
Yeah.
And being completely isolated from your family and everything. And so she passed, but it was like one of those timing things where it's just like, all right, so here's what we got to do. We're going to get down there for the funeral. And it was like, her family that side of the family is like 6.5 hours from where we live.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, they're still technically in Illinois because Illinois is a long ass, flat, boring state. But
is it a dry state?
Oh, thank God, no. Dry county, oddly enough.
Hence
But
the grass, I see it. Hey,
but
you look a little empty there, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a half hour ago. But yeah, so I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to get an episode up because we got to go to the funeral and da 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 da. And fortunately, this was like one of those metrics where I really appreciate my new job because I am no longer unemployed.
Yeah, there you go.
It's been a good year for Aaron. I got a really good job offer right at the tail end of December last year because I'd been furloughed for like 9 months at that point.
Yeah.
And so I got this new job, and I was like, well, you guys, I got a death in the family. I mean, if it doesn't work and I got to be here because I know I'm new, I'm like still in my probationary period here, and they were just like, "What are you, stupid? Go."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was like, no, if you need a day, take 2 days, whatever. Yeah, I was like, well, the funeral's on Saturday, so if we leave Friday after work, it shouldn't be a huge problem. We can get down there Friday night,
Yeah.
and be there Saturday for the funeral. We'll come back Sunday. They're like, hey, come back Tuesday. I'm like,
Okay.
oh well. They're like, if you're in the car all day Sunday, you're not going to want to come to work Monday. Come back Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So
And that's a job that you can say, hey, I'm gonna stay here for.
Oh yeah, no, I'll stay there till I retire if they let me. I love my new job.
Yeah, there you go. There you
So
go. Congrats.
well, thank you. I mean, I have some really awesome coworkers, and the upper management is all a bunch of really good people. And
which you never can say that about a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I've worked a lot of places where I'm like, your parents were first cousins or something because you're just you suck.
I mean, I hate to say, but like when the whole COVID thing hit, I mean, I was like still working because they deemed essential, I guess.
Well, yes. So was I briefly.
Yeah.
I because I'm a chef, like as a profession.
Oh, okay.
So, but
I something about you do culinary stuff on
little. I occasionally do cooking, like discussions and stuff. Yeah, but but several years back, I went into like corporate food service.
Yeah,
because it's a little more stable than like the restaurant side of things. I mean, you don't have as much necessarily creative freedom, but I got a 401k and benefits, so it was a good exchange. And the company I was working for, I was actually working at one of the refineries in the area here in the food service department I was a catering specialist. And they basically, it was Exxon, and at the start of 2020 they had to reduce on-site stuff for a couple different reasons, and they were like, well, Aaron, we're going to send you over to this other account that just got a catering contract to do exclusive catering for their company. We want you to show them how to set it up and blah 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 blah. And so I said, okay, I'll go over there and take care of that. And then the COVID stuff started happening, and like Exxon went down to a skeleton crew of all non-essential personnel were not to be on the property, and all the office people were to work from home, and all the other stuff that went into place.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden they didn't really need the same amount of staff there. So they were like, well, we're going to leave you where you're at, and that's going to be your new position, and you'll just be their permanent catering guy. Okay. And then so I worked for a couple more months, and then basically how it worked for me was like the first few months where they were doing all the big extra unemployment money, where everybody was getting like an extra $700 a week or whatever. Yeah, I missed all that shit.
Oh,
I got one check that had bonus money on it initially, and then because when finally the company I was working for sent all their office people home, and they were like, all we have here is production people. We're going to cut the cafe down to just like pre-made sandwiches and grab and go stuff. So we don't need a kitchen staff here either. We just need a cashier. And I'm like, okay, thanks. So I got furloughed, and like I said, initially they were like, oh, it'll just be a couple of weeks. And that was, that went from weeks to months to like, I got a job interview at another company. Sorry. And they were just like, oh no, we totally understand. You're leaving in good status. Thanks for telling us.
Yeah.
And I've actually gotten a couple of phone calls like, hey, are you still looking for work? I'm like, no, update your files. I quit.
Yeah.
I went from furloughed to working for another company.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for keeping us updated. I've updated you 3 times.
Yeah, I know. I updated you, man. Like, get with it. So what's your favorite chef wise, what's your favorite making of a masterpiece?
Well, I personally, I'm a huge like barbecue, outdoor, slow cooking.
Yeah.
I got my Franken smoker I built, which is I love my smoker. It started out its life as a regular charcoal grill, and then I call it the Franken smoker because no two parts on it have the same brand. So, so I got like a char griller body, a char broiler side fire box. I have a master built rotisserie. I have a Weber firebox for, excuse me, or a Weber charcoal chimney to light the charcoal with, and
Yeah.
so I got all the major brands incorporated into this thing.
It's like a whole
And
console shit going on.
yeah, and that's like that's my baby.
Yeah. I'm with
I
you,
love
man.
it.
Good. I love barbecues, and I was never good at cooking indoors. And my wife, when I was married, she was like, I almost burned down the house because I was making French fries in oil, and I kind of dropped them, and so
Yeah.
let's just say that the cat saw it, the ears went back, ran up the stairs, and hid underneath my pillow next to her while she was laying in bed because my wife was sick at the time, and all of a sudden after it was like, and then she calls back down. She goes, what are you doing downstairs? I'm like, I'm trying to make French fries. And she's like, are you burning down the house? And I'm like, no.
No.
No, but then she's like, all right, well, let's cook barbecue outside. And I'm like, all right, so I go out there when it snows, it's barbecuing, it's raining, I
Oh,
barbecue, and
oh yeah. No, I'm the same way. And I mean, it's Illinois. We get all the seasons.
yeah,
And honestly, unlike a lot of people, summer's when I reduce my barbecuing. I won't say I don't do it, but I don't like being hot. I'm a big dude. I don't like being
yeah.
out there and sweating my ass off. So
Because you
if
get the
I'm
heat
barbecuing,
anyway, and then you can be roasting it
yeah.
in the sun. I'm like, I understand. I've been there.
I mean, now fortunately, I do have a pool.
Yeah,
It's not a big pool. It's not a fancy pool. It's one of those little pop up ones you can get at Walmart or whatever.
yeah.
But it's big enough where you can put two floaties in it, and two grown ass people can float around all day having cocktails. So that's good enough for me. And
What's your favorite cocktail, actually? Since we're in the subject of
oh,
cocktails too now.
well, I'm actually a pretty simple guy. I like whiskey and ice. That's in my younger days, I was a lot more. I would drink this drink that tasted kind of like a bomb pop. I would use vanilla vodka
Yeah.
and blue raspberry Kool-Aid, and then put a shot of lemon juice in it.
Yeah.
Tastes just like a bomb pop. And I used to drink the hell out of that stuff, and then I realized like sugar causes hangovers. And so I took a page out of my old man's book and started drinking either neat or on the rocks, and that's more when I developed an affinity for like scotch and bourbon. And
Yeah. But we had I was on a Cheap Seats review this Wednesday past, actually. So we were talking about Army of the Dead. And then we came up with, because one of the guys sat on a blueberry and just like, we did like Skype, and it was cool. I never done Skype in a long time, and I was like, it was a cool like thing, instead of Zoom. And I'm like, all right. So he shuts off the thing. He shut off, and then like, oh, well, where'd he go? He's not. Then he goes, oh, sorry guys, I sat on a blueberry, and I kind of stained my pants, and then we're all like started laughing hysterical. So then that was like, hey, let's have the blueberry zombie tiger, and all of a sudden like, it'd be a great drink. So we were like, hey, the blueberry zombie tiger, there we go.
yeah,
So but
sounds like something that could be whipped up.
oh yeah, definitely. I just gotta figure out what. I'm gonna look into that, actually. I don't really drink anymore, but that's something I'll concoct for somebody.
Yeah, no, I say I don't drink like I used to. That's that's one thing. I mean, forgive the glass sitting in front of me, but
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
that's fine.
I've found a little bit of for some reason, I don't know if it does something to my vocal cords, but I like the way I sound better after I have about a half a shot.
Yeah.
So
No, to loosen up and everything else too.
well, that doesn't hurt any either. But
Yeah.
that's the other side of being a chef. I mean, I've been doing what I do for like over 20 years,
Yeah.
and compared to like 25-year-old Aaron, I don't drink. I mean, the fact that I can have a bottle last more than a couple days. Yeah, I really don't drink like I used to. I mean,
Do you get recipes, like your own personal recipes of cooking
oh,
of your own?
I have I actually I had a cookbook, like it literally an entire cookbook
Yeah.
that I wrote, and unfortunately, I never got around to typing it, and I have no fucking idea what I did with the notebook that it's in. It is literally like 375 recipes of my own from start to finish. I developed them, I tested them,
Yeah.
made them, tens if not hundreds of times until I got them the way I wanted, and I don't know where I put the damn book. And I can recreate them. I mean, I'd have to redo them and tweak them a little bit at this point
Yeah.
because I have a pretty good idea of how everything should be. But at the same time, it's like that was a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
And I have this like sneaking suspicion because I did take it to work with me once because I wanted to pull some recipes out of it.
Yeah.
And I have this like sneaking suspicion I left it at the refinery and it's either still sitting there in a desk or somebody has it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame really, but
If you would find any kind of, is it like recipes, like, for like, say, barbecue, like you were talking about before?
there's barbecue, there's breads, there's vegetable recipes. I mean, it's literally a full everything from appetizers to desserts. And like stuff like different sauces. Like I make this. I mean, I'm biased, but it's a blueberry chipotle barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
That is just, oh my god, it's so good on pork. It's just if that's one of those things you're into, it's it's some next level because you get that sweetness from the blueberry. And
if you can be able to figure out the recipe and write it down or something like that, I would love to try some of that and try to
yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. I know that's one of the ones that's like burned into my brain.
Yeah,
because I still make it all the time.
Yeah.
And
because I think me and my girlfriend have been trying to figure out certain shit, that.
Yeah, and particularly like during the spring and the summer when blueberries are in season.
Yeah.
And you get the fresh ones. I mean, you can make it with the frozen ones and it still comes out really good. But you make it with the fresh ones and it's just next level,
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely, yeah. So,
and
but
it's
we are a little bit out of time because I know
I was just saying I know you got appointments to keep.
An appointment. Thank you. An appointment to go and get to. Which I don't like the time shit, like I said, and
yeah, well, that's okay because I'll talk till Jesus comes back if you let me. So
yeah, oh, dude, you can come back, man. Let me know, man.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, dude, because that's what I want to try to do with other people. I want to have them like come back whenever they want. Just don't wait for me to say it.
I mean, set something up in a couple of weeks or whatever when you got some time. I mean,
yeah, because I know I got like half this month, like Fridays and Saturdays are pretty much booked, and even because that's what I do. I'm like, I gotta do it like Fridays and Saturdays because if I try doing it during the week, I'm not gonna get any sleep. And
well, yeah, I have this. I'm the same way. I mean, I try and keep my stuff on Friday, Saturday, so I can be functional for my job. Because, like I said, I really like my new job. I don't want to fuck up. So,
I can't really fuck up as it is because I mean, I go in there and drive a forklift, but it's still like everybody has a great time and all that. So, and one guy calls himself a fucking genius. Not me, but it's like somebody else that calls him. But thank you again for being on the show.
Well, thanks again for having me. And
also tell everybody where you can be. And
okay, no problem. Easiest way to do it is go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com. Links are to literally everything on there. Pretty much anywhere you find a podcast, you can type in I Had to Say It and I'll be the one that comes up. You see a big screaming gorilla on the logo, that's me. That's a whole nother story. Maybe next time we'll get into why I picked that.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask about the gorilla, but I love the sticker actually.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole story behind that. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get that in the next one. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll do it like on a Friday or something where I got like a part of it I can be able to squeeze in, no problem.
Cool, excellent.
All right, sir.
So yeah,
And
that
then we'll
should
talk
cover
more
it.
about we call the cooking and all that. Like maybe by that time you'll have something embedded in your brain more.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, I'll get you that barbecue sauce recipe here sometime before like Mondayish, because
Yeah. Take your time.
that's just a matter of typing it up. And
Yeah, take your time, man.
realistically, that might motivate me to get off my ass and start typing up all the other recipes too.
Hey, I didn't know I was a motivator. Jesus.
Well, there you go. It's something else to put on the resume now.
Yeah, there you go.
Motivator.
A squid that motivates. There we go.
There you go.
But
All right.
find and all the stuff that he just mentioned where you can find them, and find me pretty much everywhere else too. Just go to Twitter and check my link tree, and YouTube has everything on there, and merch, and then you got merch as well.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing particularly fancy, but I like it. So
Yeah. So we all got merch. So check out the link trees, and you'll see the merch on his site, on mine, and check it out. And we'll have the links in the descriptions, and and all that jazz. All right,
excellent.
there, Mr. Aaron. I will talk to you another time. And
Excellent.
I'm just gonna cut this off, and then I'll chat with you a little bit. And then
Cool.
Alrighty, everybody, have a good day. Take it easy.
Take it easy, everybody.
And come on. Why is it not working? It's still